If your PS5 has the blue light of death, then check this video out. It may just help you.
Now, before we jump into the video, please subscribe to our channel and feel free to check us out on eBay at GameXTC. You'll get valuable information on leveling up your video game hardware and software.
The first thing you want to do is take off the cover. Lift the top right hand corner slightly and pull the case away from you. It's as simple as that. There's no need to bang it. Flip the console round and repeat the process. But this time you lift the bottom right corner. Turn the console round and then start dismantling. Yeah, this part's quite long. Clip off the plastic trimming and let's start undoing the screws that's holding down the plastic case. The first component we're going to take out will be the fan. When opening up the console, I did notice that there was a few screws missing, so someone's definitely been inside this. And now I see a void sign on the fan. Yes, someone's definitely been inside this machine. So the first phase is complete, the plastic case is off, now let's take out the CD-ROM. Now that's off, let's continue unplugging, unclipping, unscrewing so we can take off the heat shield and get to the motherboard. Okay, so we're down to the last two screws and a ribbon. As soon as these are taken out, we should be able to take out the motherboard. Now we finally got the motherboard out, let's start to investigate. So I'll set my multimeter to continuity mode. And what I'm looking for is any leakages or drop in current. Let's start at the bottom of the board. I haven't come across anything as yet that seems slightly suspicious, but this chip seems to have a weak connection. So I'm going to keep this one in mind, but continue checking the rest of the board. Things seem fairly normal, so let's check at the top of the board. I know I only spent a little bit of time at the top of the board, but I'm fairly convinced whatever's happening is happening at the bottom. So I want to spend more time there and investigate, and let's try and do a thorough job and get to the bottom of this. Yeah, there's something definitely going on in this area. I'll also check the back of the board just to see if there's any capacitors that are leaking or if there's any issues with them, and then let's go back to the front. I haven't found out that much, but we have discovered that there's something going on with the chip. So let's go full investigative mode and try and resolve this. So let me zoom in just a little bit more so I can show you the area in which I'm going to focus on. So now I didn't realize my head was that big that I was actually blocking the camera when I was doing this. So let me give you a rewind of exactly what I did. So I added some flux, solder and a wire, and to be quite honest, I could have been a bit neater, but it worked nevertheless. I then hooked it up to my power supply and set it to 1 volt. I then got my thermal camera to see if there was anything that was getting particularly hot that would give some form of indication as to why this console wasn't turning on. And to be quite honest, I couldn't find anything, so I decided to use a multimeter to see if there's anything leaking. Whilst I was going through this exercise, nothing really stood out, so I was still puzzled as to what was going on. I then added another power supply to the chip just above the one that I was investigating. I used the heat camera, and I noticed that there was one SMD that looked slightly suspicious. So I got out the multimeter and did a few more tests. I think I finally found the issue. This SMD is losing charge. Now I'm pretty sure that I found the issue, but nevertheless I continued with the multimeter testing and the thermal imaging, but I came to the conclusion that that was the SMD that's causing the problem. So in the end, I unhooked everything so that it was ready to work on. Let's get to work. Let's apply some hot air and use our tweezers to remove the SMD. During this process, I spotted another SMD that could be a potential issue. This was next to the F7002 part of the board. So I did the same process, applied some hot air and then removed it. We applied some flux, some solder, and then replaced the SMD with a new one. The specs are in the description. Time to put everything back together and test. I'm not going to screw the components or parts back together, just in case I have to reopen it up and re-diagnose. However, hopefully this fix has resolved the issue. Great, the fix seemed to have worked. Now we can do further testing, but hopefully this should have resolved everything.